The Daily Dig Excavator Edition. The Daily Dig Excavator Edition. Welcome to the Daily Dig, Diggerland's educational series on construction equipment. Today we're talking about excavators. As you can see, with me as always, we have Ben, our equipment operator, who's operating today's excavator. Like most pieces of construction equipment, as you've seen in our previous videos that air every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Facebook Live at 1:30 p.m., we focus on a different piece of equipment, and today is the excavator. So we have many components of the excavator. We have the bucket, which Ben is using for digging and scooping. We also have the boom, which he raises up and down every time he takes one of those bucket loads. Plus we have his stick or jib, which allows him to push the load outward. As always, one of the most important things is the human-machine interface, which is done via the controls, which Ben is controlling with his left and right hands with the joysticks. As you can see, Ben is digging a tremendous hole here and doing a great job with the excavator. But today is April 1st, so it is April Fool's Day. So of course we don't have just this tiny excavator. We have a giant excavator for today's lesson. One that has a lot of power and a lot of strength. So Ben's gonna climb up into the excavator now and we'll show you how a big excavator works, even though it's pretty much the same principles as the tiny excavator. So as you see, when Ben climbs in, it's always safety first. He maintains 3 points of contact with his hands on the rail and his feet on the step as he goes up. Putting his seatbelt on for safety is always a very important thing to do. To make sure he does not inadvertently start the machine, what Ben's gonna do before operating controls, watch, he has a red lever on his left side. He's gonna lower that. That will activate all the controls when he is ready to go. He also has his fire extinguisher in case there's any kinds of mishaps on the machine or at the construction site. So let's take a look at the excavator as Ben gets himself situated. So he's buckling his seatbelt now. Much bigger. Look at the size of this bucket. I'm not very tall, but it's up to my shoulder level almost. And when we connect to the sticker jib, that's way above my head here. Looking up, we see the hydraulic system, the boom, the hydraulics that control the boom, and the cab where Ben is operating from. So let's take a step back for safety and we'll watch as Ben starts digging a tremendous hole in the ground here. He just lowered that safety lever. He's throttling up. And here we go with some major digging. As you can see, Ben's already on his second scoop, and he already has a giant hole excavated. This machine is made for digging holes quickly. Look at that giant load Now, he never wants to dump his dirt in the same area, so he's always going to excavate and dump off to the side here. So let's watch a little bit more as Ben excavates this tremendous ditch here. All right, as Ben digs, we did have a question from Dan Miller. He would like to know the weight limit of the tiny excavator. The answer actually is 110 pounds. Ben's a little bit above that, but by squatting down and being a trained professional, he's able to keep it safe. Let's watch as he digs some more. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask the questions in the comments section below. We'll do our best to answer them during the video. And if there's something that I don't quite know and need to look up, I'll be happy to find that information for you and answer it in the comments below. So Ben's trenching right now. He is digging deeper and further out each time. With every scoop, he's going a little bit deeper and a little bit further out. The reason being would be if we had to lay pipes or gas lines or underground cables or wiring. Now he's putting the dirt nearby. That way when it's time to fill in the trench, he won't have to go very far. He can knock it back in with his bucket by putting his bucket sideways and pushing it back in, which we'll see a little bit later in this video. Or we can get our friend the bulldozer from Monday's episode just come along and push all the dirt right back in the ditch. Let's watch as he excavates some more. As Ben excavates, we'd also like to say hello to Micah, who's watching right now, who loves Diggerland. Thanks for watching and thanks for the view. Be sure to share, and if you have any questions, comment below. Let's watch as Ben operates his controls and continues digging. All right, I'm going to give Ben the stop signal real quick. Would you go ahead and throttle that down? So as you can see, Ben has dug a tremendous hole. Let's go take a look at how deep this hole is right here. So already we're looking at a 5-6 foot hole. If I was to stand up in that, the dirt would be well above my head. And he's excavated all the dirt to this side here. Now, one of the great things about excavators is they are very versatile while working on a construction site. Much like the dozer, we have a low center of gravity. Look at those tracks. They're made for a variety of applications. We can work in muddy environments, in the forestry service, and lots of other places as well. The cab is safely above the ground in case there's any kind of mud or flooded areas that the excavator has to operate in order to keep the engine compartment from flooding or filling up with water. Now, also with the excavator tracks, he can go over all kinds of terrain. He can climb up hills, go down hills. So what we're going to watch now is a little demonstration as Ben drives the excavator around the site a little bit. Then he's going to drive all the way over to that red tire over there, and he's going to pick up the tire and drop it down on the other side. So Ben, let's see you drive around and pick up that tire over there. There's also a question from Lamb and Lillian who want to know if safety helmets are needed. Well, Ben is safely enclosed in a cab right now. He's not walking under any kind of overhead areas where bricks or cinder blocks might fall on him, so he's safe. If there's any kind of hazards, if there's anything above him and he was working, even though he's in a cab and there is a cage on top of it, he would want to be wearing a safety helmet if there's any fear of anything falling. So great question. Keep those questions coming. So we see how quickly Ben has made it across the site. He's already at that tire. He's going to pick it up and move it because these buckets are great for moving stuff around. So let's watch. So Ben's got the tire stuck on the bucket a little bit, so he's working it. He's vibrating and shaking his bucket and moving it up and down to try to work that tire off of the edge of his bucket there. Let's see what he does to get his bucket out of that tire. There we go, and his bucket is free. Excellent work, Ben, excellent work. The other great thing about excavators is they're very versatile. He could be working in this direction and turn around and dig behind him and dump the dirt on that side. He has a full 360-degree range of motion. So we're gonna watch as Ben demonstrates. This machine can turn around limitlessly and he can work in any direction. So Ben, let's see a nice 360 spin. The other great thing is it doesn't matter what direction he's heading in. Underneath his tracks, when he works his levers, he can go in either direction. So if his cab's facing this way, he can drive to this tire. If his cab's facing the other direction, he'll just push the levers in the opposite direction and start driving in the other direction. We're going to see a demonstration of this. Ben, go ahead and drive towards the tire. So he's pushing his levers forward towards the tire. I'd stop right there. Now, Ben, you're going to turn 180 degrees away from the tire, and then you're going to drive away from the tire by pulling the levers in the same direction. So even when his machine turns, the bottom chassis will still respond in the same way. So he's going to pull the levers the same exact way, or in the opposite direction now, and now he's going to be driving away from the tire. Just look how powerful that excavator is. This is also what's known as a zero tail swing excavator. How it works is the counterweight and the compartment in the back doesn't actually hang over the tracks. So when he turns around, he doesn't have to worry about hitting anything that might be behind his tracks. As you drive down the highway and you see excavators in the back of trailers or construction sites, you may notice the backs of them usually have a lot of dents and are scratched up. That's because a lot of them hang over the edge of the tracks. This particular excavator is designed in such a way that it won't scratch anything because the tracks are actually longer than the back of the cab. So to finalize everything today, we're going to have Ben drive back over here and fill the hole back in. So let me give him his instruction. Ben, can you please drive back to the ditch you excavated and fill the dirt back in for us? And let's head over to the ditch so we can watch him work. Right this way. So as Ben's driving over here, just want to remind everyone, if you have any questions, feel free to comment in the section below. And as always, join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the Daily Dig, where we do our educational series on construction equipment here at Diggerland. So let me get to safety and out of the way because Ben's coming quickly, and we'll watch as he fills this hole back in. All right, so we have a question from Lamb. He wants to know why the excavator is moving slow and not fast. These machines are actually made to move at a certain speed. They're not as fast as your car would be just because they're so powerful. They have to be able to climb up hills and move a lot of dirt at once. So these are not machines made for fast transport. That's why you'll always see them on trailers being moved from site to site. If they were quick and if they were on wheels, we'd be driving them from place to place. But unfortunately, a lot of construction equipment tops off at certain speeds so it can perform other functions. They're not made for quick performance when it comes to actually driving. They're made for powerful performance. You can see Ben's just taking that bucket and pushing the dirt right back in the side there. Ben, why don't you give us a nice big full bucket up high and just dump it right in. So Ben's going to give us a demonstration of dumping the dirt up high. It's going to be raining down dirt. That's not normally how we would do it on a construction site, but sure is fun to watch. So that's why Ben's going to do it. Let's watch. All right, so we just got another question. Does the excavator cab have heat or air conditioning? The answer is yes, it does. It's a nice day outside today, so Ben actually has his door open. But yes, full heat, full air conditioning, much like a car with all the features. Hi Oliver, you want to know if excavators can knock things down? Absolutely! I've seen so many buildings torn down with just an excavator. It's amazing how powerful these things are. So if there's an old building that needs to make way for a new construction site, or if there's fire damage, excavators are great for coming in, ripping everything apart, and then separating. We like to make sure that we recycle things properly and that proper garbage goes to the proper areas. So we always like to separate wood from concrete and make sure it goes to the proper disposal area. Great question. Thanks for the question. All right, we just have a couple more questions. One question is, how fast can this excavator go? This excavator cannot go very fast. It's more made for digging. It can go about 2 to 3 miles per hour top speed, but there would really be very little use to drive it around a site. It's more made for digging. And the other question is, how old do you have to be to operate an excavator? Well, this particular excavator exists for our Diggerland XL, so you'd have to be 18 or older to operate this excavator. But if you come to Diggerland, if you are 42 inches tall, you can operate tiny excavators. At 48 inches tall, you could operate our bigger excavators. And if you're 36 inches and you're still a little small, you are more than welcome to sit in your parents' lap and operate our excavators. Great questions. So as always, keep those questions coming. We thank you for tuning in for our educational series, The Daily Dig. every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1:30 p.m. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section below. Before I sign off, I believe there's one more question. Let me read it, and I'll be right back to you. The question is, are there different sizes of excavators? Yes, there's all different kinds. We have mini excavators, which are made for cities and small digging areas, all the way up to these giant excavators. We have some really, really big excavators up there. There's another question about how much this weighs and how much dirt it holds. That's a great question. I don't know the answer off the top of my head, but I'll be sure to get that information to you at the end of this video. I'll post it in the comments below. So as always, thank you for joining us for the Daily Dig. Tune in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1:30 p.m. at Facebook Live. And ask the questions below. We'll do our best to get to every single answer. Thank you for your questions, everyone. Have a great day.